Hi, Tom Ashby, business editor of The National. Thank you very much, Gulf Intelligence, for inviting me. My question was Iraq. The topic was international oil companies, ranging from the majors to emerging market national oil companies, have staked big claims to Iraq's vast oil potential. What are the real prospects for these developments, and what are the implications for the upstream globally? And I would preface my remarks by saying that although we had a very distinguished table of experts, none of us are Iraqi or indeed have direct experience working within the Iraqi oil industry, and I know there are many people here who do have that experience. So I would preface all of our statements by the fact that we are coming from somewhat an exterior point of view. But nonetheless, Iraq is such a powerful force on the world oil industry, and has been for so long, that it's an area that we've all had a great deal of interest in over the years. First of all, we looked at the production outlook for Iraq. This, as you probably know, has been a source of great speculation over the years. I remember when, even before the US invasion in 2003, there was a blueprint for Iraqi oil production, which was hatched together by a bunch of very brainy Iraqis in London, and they were incredibly optimistic about the production potential, which of course didn't materialize. And in fact, here we are nearly a decade after that, and the production in Iraq is still actually below the level it was before the invasion by the United States. So all of our predictions were very much tempered by the knowledge that there have been a lot of disappointments from a kind of purely oil production point of view in Iraq. Our outlook was basically that the production will be determined more by investment than restrictions of OPEC. And in fact, the restrictions that there are probably more infrastructural than geological, which everybody, I think, is agreed that Iraq's potential in the ground is enormous. Of course, so many figures are bandied around. I think the official target at the moment is from the current 2.5 million barrels a day to reach 12 million in 6 or 7 years, which is a huge target. We did not think that was going to be achieved. We estimated that Iraqi oil production might increase by about 500,000 barrels a day cumulatively every year for the next 5 years. So that might bring us near to the point of 5 million in 5 years' time. As you know, there was a supplementary point. Iraq and the OPEC quota is something that has been a fascination for OPEC watchers over the years. Of course, traditionally it was always parity with Iran, and this was an important principle held within the organization. But we felt actually that even this tradition of parity with Iran might actually go by the wayside, partly because, as we said earlier, if Iraqi oil production is driven by investment, then clearly Iraq is in a much better position to receive investment than Iran. So if we reach parity if Iraq were to reach parity on oil production with Iran in, say, 5 years' time, and the status quo politically was still in place, one might see a scenario where Iraq would then move ahead. So those are points 1 and 2. Politically, the outlook for Iraq, again, we saw Iraq as a high-risk area politically, but having said that, more stable than it has been for many years. And as, in fact, one of my panel members was from Japan and had a very unique insight into this, his point was, well, we really do have very few alternatives available to secure oil supplies in this region, and so this is definitely a place we would seek to invest. The issue of Kurdistan was point number 4. The question, of course, is whether Kurdistan, on what terms Kurdistan stays within the Iraqi Federation, and to what extent will it be able to achieve its ambitions in terms of oil production. Once again, I'm afraid we were driven by our very intelligent capitalist Christoph from Bain and Co., who actually was his mantra throughout was, look, if the money is there, the oil will flow. And I think we all ended up agreeing with him that in Kurdistan, the sheer volume of reserves plus the amount of investment going in there, although that the exports right at the moment are an issue, we felt that these would be overcome. Finally, the terms of the Iraqi oil concessions. There's some talk that they were rather harsh for the investors. And of course, the oil industry, much as we like to talk about stability of oil contracts, there is a history within the industry on both sides of reneging and rewriting oil contracts. So the question was, if the terms are tough, will the companies perform? And we felt that given the low geological risk and the high financial strength of the winning bidders, that we felt that yes, there would be good confidence that the majors and other investors would perform. Thank you very much.